Welcome back to the NordVPN Top 6 show. Hit the like buttons, subscribe, and get ready to leave your comments below. Using social media, using the internet is a fun place for the majority of people. But what's really important to remember is to protect yourself at all times. When out and about using public Wi-Fi, maybe when you're at an airport, in a cafe, it's absolutely imperative to protect yourselves against hackers and people that will try to steal your personal data. Public Wi-Fi is very convenient, but it comes at the expense of security. When you're answering emails in your local cafe or absent-mindedly scrolling through social media whilst at an airport, somebody could be tracking and hacking your data. Using NordVPN protects your data whilst you are using other networks. This hides your browsing history, your bank information, and your personal passwords and more. Aside from protecting my data, one of the biggest benefits to me when it comes to using NordVPN is allowing me access to my shows, sporting events, and apps that I subscribe to wherever I am around the world. I have accounts in America with Peacock and other parts of the world to catch up on sport with. But if I'm not in the USA, I'm still able to use NordVPN to connect to my apps and stream the football, stream the movies, and watch my favorite shows. We'll speak about NordVPN a little bit more during the Top 6 show to give you some real insight to the benefits that you can get through using this. But Nord are celebrating their 11th birthday. So firstly, happy birthday to them. But what does this mean for you? Every single one of you that subscribes and signs up to a 2-year plan will receive a mystery gift on top. You have to use my exclusive link, which is in the description below. Now enjoy the rest of the Top 6 show. Hit the like and the share button, as I say, and get ready to put your comments in. They're very valuable to us. And let's do this. Welcome back, everybody. We've got Jess here, of course, bigging up Arsenal. We've got man like Flawless. It's been a while, but he's back on the terrace tonight, ready to represent the mighty Manchester United. Have Hope is here, a.k.a. Sebastian. Chelsea with 2 wins on the bounce. And lovely little Sonny is back here, bigging up Liverpool. Well, you're little compared to the rest in age, not in height. You're quite tall, actually. And I don't know who that is in the middle. I don't know who this is here. Won't show his face on camera. What is the expression? No face, no case. To my guy here, ready to speak about Tottenham and their problems and all that. But how is everybody doing this evening? Everyone well? Everyone good?
Very good.
Good.
Yeah, man. God bless.
Sweet. So we won't stand on ceremony. We will jump straight into it. And the viewers have voted to speak about Tottenham to begin with. And we will cover all of the top 6 on tonight's show, as everybody knows. But Spurs, what a week. What a week, George. A couple of weeks, really. Out of the FA Cup, beaten by Wolves, dumped out of the Champions League. Your manager doesn't want to stay. Your star £60 million signing is calling your season shit. Talk to me, bruv. Talk to me.
Yeah, man, the season's gone to shit. It really has. The season has gone all tits up. There's really not much to look forward to. Top 4, I'd throw that in the bin right now because there's nothing to look forward to if I'm being honest.
You can still get there. Have some hope, man. Have some belief.
It's not even about wanting. I don't want top 4 at this stage. I don't care about top 4.
What's the point?
Now, let's be honest. Like this season, as I said, when I went into this season, I aimed for a trophy. We're now out of all the trophies. The teams we went out of the trophies to: Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, and AC Milan. All teams that were easily beatable. That AC Milan team, they would not be any other top 4 club. Let top 6 club in this Premier League. They're horrible. They had a 38-year-old Giroud up front causing us issues. There's nothing to look forward to, honestly. Conte, he wants to leave. Kane, he's 1 foot out. I mean, yeah, man, Tottenham's just, it's a comedy show right now. Saturday Night Live tomorrow. That's pretty much what we're going to be at away at Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, hopefully some changes can happen, and who knows what's going to happen with Spurs going forward. Who knows?
So are you Conte out then?
I'm not. That's the thing. I'm really not.
What?
I don't blame this on Conte. What I blame is that we have these same players letting us down. I don't know if you guys seen the stat. You're not amongst Tottenham Twitter, but over about past the last 7 years, every time we've gone out in the cup to a team lower than us, either Dyer, Davies, or Sanchez have been a part of the back line. It's the continuous rollover of these players that we continue giving new contracts to. The worst ones, Dyer, Davies, like how they've been at this club for so long. I can't keep blaming a manager, Conte, who's a defensive manager, when he hasn't got the defensive tools. He's not got the players to do the job. I do agree that he has to take blame. The other day, there's no excuse against Sheffield. There's no excuse against AC Milan. And there's simply no excuse that when there's 10 minutes left in the Champions League tie, 10 men, you bring on another centre-back. Like that, there's nothing more defensive than that. And at that point, that substitution was pretty much throwing away his job. He said, I don't want this. I don't want to go far. I'm going to throw this back in. And he laughed at us.
Was Danjuma not on the bench as well?
On when we need a goal.
Was Danjuma on the bench at that point as well?
Danjuma was on the bench. We had, I believe, maybe even Lucas Moura on the bench. It's just we had options. He chose not to go with those options. He chose to bring on a centre back when we're chasing a game, a big Champions League.
So how does he blame Conte then if he does that?
The season, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But I don't blame the downfall of Tottenham on him. I blame it on the players, the same players. And do you know what? Harry Kane, man. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and defend him after that. Like, there's absolutely no chance. You call yourself world class. You've been going on all these years being one of the best strikers in world football, and you've got an easy game against. Let me not say easy. You got a game against AC Milan. Let's be real. Tomori, who was partnering him?
I think it's Kalulu, I think.
Kalulu, and they're not
CEO. The guy from like half finished.
They're young players breeding through, and you expect Harry Kane, like someone who's 30 years old, to go there, bully them, and take the chance, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and make something happen. Get a goal, create some chances, and he was non-existent. He had one or two chances where you thought, oh, it's looking good, but it just wasn't good enough from Harry, not good enough from Son. The big players didn't turn up. The manager didn't do his job, and it was just a shit show. It was a complete shit.
So, George, I want you to confirm this. So you're confirming on the terrace right now that Harry Kane, aka the tree trunk, isn't world class?
No, I never said he isn't world class. That's not what I said. I said that I blame him. He does take a lot of blame for the loss at AC Milan. He takes a lot of blame for the downfall of Spurs over the season. How can a world-class striker not have a shot on target still?
Yeah. How can a world-class striker not have a shot?
He did have a shot on target. He had a header. He did have a header. I do remember.
Yeah. Why do you call him the tree trunk? Sorry to interject. I just need to know that. What's that from?
He plays like a tree trunk, so I call him the human tree trunk. So.
Right. I didn't know where it was from, so I was confused.
I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, look, one thing you say about Harry Kane compared to most number nines, he's fairly mobile. He can pass. He's got good feet. This guy's not Lukaku. So this is weird. You call Harry Kane a tree trunk, basically saying he's a rubbish footballer, but yet you thought Lukaku was so good, you nicknamed him Luke Skywalker.
Have you seen Luke Skywalker's touch? Luke Skywalker's touch aimed bad. Look, he aims great and so forth, but look, Kane has improved. No. See, Jordan, you're being too easy on Tottenham. See, Jordan, it's very simple here.
I'm being
For
easy.
some reason, I don't know whether it's your dad. I don't know whether it was your mom, whether your dad took you when you were young and everything. Tottenham, with all due disrespect, they are losers. They're a loser club. And the person to blame the most is Levy. Levy is a businessman. He doesn't care about winning. All he cares about is, I need to lease a stadium out for NFL, F1, Hollywood, whatsoever, carousel. He doesn't care about football results. So you are breeding a club that has a mentality of losers. And do you know why I have no sympathy for you? This is called football karma, aka football heritage. The greatest manager of all time, the greatest footballing figure of all time, the reason why football exists, Mourinho, he took you to a final, and what did that clown of a chairman do? He sacked him before he played that final. You are suffering from karma. You are suffering from football karma.
We all agree, all Tottenham fans would agree that the problem starts with Levy. Yeah. But I personally, I ain't going to come and sit here and complain about Levy every week when I know my team, despite all the problems with Levy, my team was good enough to go out there and win the game. We had a better team than AC Milan, a better team than Wolves, a better team than Sheffield United.
No, but it comes from the top. It comes from the top.
Good enough to go out there and win the game. So I blame the players and the manager.
It does come from the top.
They have to take the accountability.
It does come from the top. You're right for like the overall failures at Tottenham. But even when look, I'm someone who's blamed the Glazers for a lot of where we are. However, when we played games at home against Burnley's and not won, that individual game is down to those players because Spurs haven't got a good enough squad to win the Premier League or win the Champions League. But they have a good enough squad to beat Sheffield United. They have a good enough team to beat Wolves. They have a good enough team, in my opinion, to beat AC Milan. There is issues there with some of these players. There's definitely an issue with the manager, which is why he needs to be looked at. On Harry Kane, listen, I'm more than gladly take him off your hands at Man United. Very, very happy to do that personally. He needs to get away from there. But the talk is, Flawless, that Luis Enrique is going to come in. Now, I think he's recognized by most of the top manager. Do you think someone like Luis Enrique could change the fortunes of Tottenham, or is anyone that goes in there doomed?
Anyone, it depends on what you're trying to hit. Like, I think a manager is good enough, a quality manager is good enough to go into Spurs and win an FA Cup or a League Cup. And I'm guessing George and Spurs fans would take both arms off anybody for that. So in that essence, yes. Is it Luis Enrique? I don't know. He did very well at Barcelona. What has he done outside of there to go and say he's the guy? Is he going to get the money to go and compete? Like, that's what it is. Because the Spurs squad, we all know, isn't good. It's not good enough to win the Premier League. It's not good enough to win the Champions League. But like I said, domestic cups should be targeted. And the fact that they went out to Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest, that's nothing to do with Levy. That's on Conte, and that's on them players. Go look at Conte's domestic cup record. People really like to sweep it under the rug. It's not good. He has, for all the teams he's managed that have won leagues, so whether it's over here with Chelsea, whether it's in Italy with Juventus, I think he's got one Coppa Italia and one FA Cup, and he's never won a double. But people want to blame the players. Yes, we know the squad is short, 110%. But you have to look at Conte. I'm looking at Conte bringing on a defender when you need a goal, and you're literally one goal away from extra time. Literally. And they didn't. I'm watching the last bits of the game, 10, 15 minutes, and Spurs haven't thrown the kitchen sink at it. And if you're watching that on mute, you'll think Spurs were ahead. But that comes from the manager. Conte plays defensive football. But is Luis Enrique the guy? I'm not sure, because he's going to want to go in there and play a certain way. And the players Spurs currently have can't play that way. So then are they going to spend 200, 300 million? Bear in mind, all the other top 6 clubs are going to probably spend money as well. So I don't think Luis Enrique is the answer. I think they need a project manager. Poch going back there makes sense.
Yeah, literally, you literally said what I was actually going to say. I mean, Pochettino is Tottenham. Tottenham thought they got too big for their boots, because why was Pochettino sacked? Because they thought, okay, new stadium now, we're not a big club. Let's bring in Mourinho to try and win something. Let's bring in Conte to try and win something. Not knowing that you've got the loser's gene. So if you've got the loser's gene, someone as great as Uncle Mo, he can't override the loser's gene. Bring in Pochettino, as my man said, a project manager, and just build with him. You should have never sacked Pochettino. Pochettino and Tottenham were a marriage made in heaven. Look, when Pochettino went to PSG, it didn't work. Pochettino, his mindset and what he's about goes well with what Tottenham are about. And you just have to hope and pray that maybe you get a trophy. But the reality, though, is with how this has ended up, Kane is off. He's gone. Like, right now, because as I think Terrace said, it's like some shows ago, he is going, with what has happened, he's going to Man United. So for Tottenham right now, Conte is out, Kane is out. What do you now do going forward for Tottenham? You know, because you won't have Kane. Do you now go back for Poch? I mean, Jose, let me ask you, you're the Tottenham guy. Do you go back for Poch? Do you now risk it with Luis Enrique, who you know needs specific players to now?
The thing is, both of them do. Both of them need new players. The thing is, when Pochettino was on his way out, he was the guy calling for a rebuild. He said, we need new players, we need new faces. He wanted to get rid of Dyer, he wanted to get rid of Sanchez, and he wanted to get rid of a lot of these players that we still have. My problem with Poch coming back is I don't want him to come back and feel loyal, like a loyalty to these players, similar to how Klopp is, and be like, these were my players, I'm going to try and make it work with them. We can't do that. Tottenham need a lot of change. And if Poch does come back, he needs to reinvigorate the squad. He needs to bring in a whole load of players, a whole load of new players, and he needs to play his way, similar to what Luis Enrique would. Luis Enrique is my number one personally. Like I said, he does need a lot of new players to come in to play his way, but I'm not being funny. The last 3 managers we've had defensive football. The first things first, I just want to fall in love with watching Tottenham again. Right now, watching Tottenham is so boring. It's boring. I sit there, I literally fell asleep during the Sheffield game. The Wolves game, I fell asleep during that game. I'm being honest, I fell asleep at half time during Wolves. I fell asleep and I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to go back and watch it. I was like, we lost 1-0. I don't want to go back and watch it. It's pointless because
you literally went from football terrorist to football terrorist to football terrorist. I understand. You know what I'm saying?
We were there, Jose, and then into Ollie. The amount of times it was so hard to watch and get it. But a question I've got, right, is where was this energy at the where is this energy from Spurs fans at the start of the season? Because at the start of I get you love your club, and I don't want Forms to do a diss track about me or anything like that when I say this. And I get that fans always big up their club, right? It's actually a very I don't know much about rap, but that was actually pretty. You must have seen it, Flawless. The guy.
I've not watched it in full. I've seen it pop up on my timeline.
It was good.
But I didn't click it open. Was it good? I've not watched.
I mean, again, there was some. The only bit I didn't like, he had a go at Troops for being in his 30s. I thought that was a little harsh, personally. But that's a personal thing. But yeah, look, there's always just. I think the reason Spurs get cooked a lot at the moment is because there's so much noise, energy, chest at the beginning of seasons. What do you say to that, Jess? Because there's videos that are going to be dropping tomorrow that I'm putting out. Someone sent me from a guy on TikTok who, the way he was talking about Arsenal in the summer, about how you're only going to sign players like Ben White, we're going to go on to next levels, we're going to leave you behind, we'll catch up with City in that this year. That's the kind of attitude from a lot of Tottenham fans every summer. And then when it starts falling apart, you hear the squad's terrible, we've been bad for years, we've been exposed again. Why don't you think Spurs fans are just a bit more honest with where they really sit?
I don't know, man. I don't understand Tottenham fans. I really don't, because it's like, just be quiet, like, until you do something. Like, you know what I mean? I even feel similar about like Arsenal fans a little bit too. Like, almost like jump the gun a little bit too much, get excited about things that are not, you really shouldn't be getting excited about. And the constant like, oh, we finished over Arsenal, so what? So what? Like, finishing over us in our worst period is not anything. And so winning transfer windows and things that, clubs or fans have never celebrated before, are all of a sudden celebrated for Tottenham. Like, I don't understand. And so I don't know. I don't get it. We kind of said this at the beginning of the season that, like, yeah, your window was okay, but you still are kind of in the same position. Everything behind Kane and Son is kind of average, and everybody's fighting me for saying that. But then now you guys turn up midway through the season and say, yeah, you're right. So I don't know, like, if it's just feeling defensive because you want to back your club at the beginning, even when people are speaking facts, but now it's kind of come back around and everybody's acting like they always knew it, but you are fighting us. So I don't know. Spurs fans are very special, a special group of fans. Like, they're just different. I've never seen it before. Like, it's wild. And I know Arsenal fans are annoying, but at least we've won something. Like, at least we've won a little bit. It's so weird. But I remember George was about to fight us at the beginning of the season because Arsenal were looking good and were title contenders, and you guys were up there as well, and you guys were getting all bent out of shape. But that's because everybody could see that you guys weren't that good, and it was unsustainable. Like, do you know what I mean? Now you guys are saying it was unsustainable. It's just weird that it's like come around. You guys are saying things we said in August. It's weird. Y'all are special.
I don't think
that's a very polite insult, by the way. I just wanted to say that. Very polite insult. You are a special group. Very polite.
Are you going to accept that, George?
I don't think it's the unsustainability that killed us. What killed us is a lot of the big players that we relied on just haven't turned up. I mean, last season, the back end of last season, we were optimistic going into the season because Son had one of his best seasons ever. Kulu was firing on all fronts. Bentancur, Dyer was looking better than he ever had, and he got his first England call-up for a reason. And so did Hugo Lloris, had his best season in about 4 or 5 years. So we had a lot of players in great form that were pushing hard, and we thought they were going to take this into the season. No one can predict that Lloris is going to go 5-6 errors leading to goals and then get an injury. Dyer goes back to his poor old self. And yeah, we did have these issues, and we all recognize them. Defensively, there was always going to be a problem, but it just got progressively worse as the season gone on because Son still hasn't turned up. Kulu's been good, but just not good enough. Kane, again, just he doesn't get the job done when we need him to. And so, yeah,
but what you can predict, though, George, is like, you're saying it was unpredictable, so it's not the unsustainability, but that's literally what it is. It's if Son and Kane and these players that you guys hype up and put on pedestals don't perform, you have nothing to fall back on. You don't have other players or, a system that works without those players playing at the peak of their powers. And so it was predictable. It was unsustainable. And literally what you've said has just backed up my point.
No, because just any big team, if you lose your best players are out of form, you're going to drop off heavily. Let's not lie. Son, his goals literally carried us into the top 4 last season. He scored 18 goals between January and May. Like, there's no taking that away. This season, he's scored 4 or 5 goals. Like, no one can sit there and say, oh, yeah, even without Son, are you going to be good? Son's been good for 5 seasons, 6 seasons straight. No one's going to predict that he's going to fall off as heavy as he did. And we've had a few players fall off heavy since last season. And that's why since coming back from the World Cup, the team's just not picked up. We've not looked good enough, as well as having a manager who, as the season's gone on, just doesn't really look too interested. He doesn't look like he wants to stay
I'm
at
just
Tottenham.
confused about that, though, George, because, I mean, yeah, we all know that if you lose significant players, you're going to drop away, but not to the level that you guys dropped away. I mean, good teams have players that don't play, but you don't fall away the way that Spurs have. Like, everything that you guys were doing was just basically like hoping that Son and Kane would replicate that form, but there was never anything foundationally behind it. Arsenal haven't had Jesus since like November, but we haven't like fallen apart. Manchester United didn't have Casemiro for 3 games. They didn't fall down. Like, I feel like that's a cheap way of like, unless you have Chelsea level, unless you have Chelsea level, like, or Liverpool level, like injury lists, where if you've looked at theirs at several times during the season, they had like 11 players out, significant players. They have an excuse. You guys just have players that we've always known. If they don't show up, you're not going to perform.
We've had injuries.
So again,
I don't
it
like
was
to
very predictable.
We've had a long-term injury to our best midfielder. We've had Romero, who's played half of the season. We've had Kulusevski, who was out for the start of the season. Also, you're acting like Tottenham's fall-off has still been like a massive fall-off. We finished 4th last season. Right now, we're in 4th. If we come out of the top 4, Tottenham ain't going to finish 7th or 8th or 9th. We might finish just below the position we did, probably a few points off of what we did last season. So isn't that Tottenham have fallen off heavily? It's just that what we expected Tottenham to be, we weren't as good as what we expected.
Wait, you don't think Tottenham could finish 7th? Tottenham could definitely finish like 7th or below.
We're not finishing 7th or below. No chance.
Look at the form you're going in. I mean, you're only getting worse.
I mean, the hype has fallen away. I think that's what we're talking about. It's like, because at the beginning, when you did your little monologue, you were the one who was saying that you guys were crap, and you guys had fallen away. So I'm just echoing what you said. But the hype has really dwindled. It's not
from
really
my expectations, though, Jess. Because I said you know, and I know my expectations were high, and I'm not going to sit here and deny.
George, what were your expectations at the start of the season?
I expected to win a trophy and finish at least top 3, not top 4.
Silly.
And that's where it is. But I understand, because Spurs fans did get gas because you lot had Conte and signed players. That's why I heard people say Spurs can finish top 3, Spurs top 2, Spurs title challenges. That was never going to happen. Their window was nowhere near as good as people made it out to be. Their team is nowhere near as good as people made it out to be, and we're seeing that now. This is why this isn't a surprise. If you look at Conte everywhere he's been, he kicks up a fuss. We know this. It always ends in tears. Normally, you get a trophy. You know how the film's going to end with Conte. You know the building's going to burn. But you expect a trophy within that. But it's not happened. That's why if you talk to certain Chelsea fans, they love him. But there's a lot of Chelsea fans who I talk to who despise him because of what he did there and how he'll kick up a fuss as soon as things don't go his way. Like, you heard the way he was talking when you lot played in the Champions League away, the AC Milan away game. And he was talking about how he wants to stay in Italy type thing and stuff like that. After the Burnley game, where he literally threw in the towel and said, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. You don't want someone like that leading you. He's way too emotional. He's way too. And then on top of being emotional, his football don't fit. That pragmatic style now doesn't work at top level football. You know what I'm saying? You have to be proactive. That's why I didn't understand all the gas. And like I've said before, his European record is horrendous and people sweep it under the rug. Look at some of the groups that he finished bottom of with Inter Milan.
He's only had one UCL knockout win since 2013.
I mean, Graham Potter has equaled that record of his now. It's crazy. Joshua Lawless here says Spurs come with chest each season because they feel their place in the top 6 is at risk as they haven't won anything to warrant it in the first place, is what Joshua Loveless believes. Mark Neighbor here says every club in the world is a business, always has been. Trophies come and go. The badge means everything to players. It's a job. We support a brand. Look, do you know, Mark? Look, you put it. Look, all clubs are a brand. Listen, you've seen that Arsenal got the best merchandise team in the world. The way they sell that stuff to people. But I don't mind my club being a brand as long as it's winning trophies at the same time. When you spend what all of the top 6 spend, you have to demand that trophies are won. I was in a debate earlier. We'll go into it later where we're talking about Foden and Saka. People are like, you can't judge players on trophies. You can judge all important players at massive clubs on the trophies they win because all our clubs are expected to win trophies. Fair enough, you can't judge a talented player at Burnley with trophies because of the club he's at, or you can't judge George's best career on his international medals because he played for Northern Ireland, but you can certainly judge Arsenal and City and Tottenham and United and Chelsea players based on the trophies they win because their clubs are meant to win trophies. Joshua here also says that Spurs fans are mental if they think they will get another world-class manager. There's zero appeal to go there, and it just ruins careers. Get big Sam. Is what
I
Joshua
don't think
loves.
there's any world-class managers out there at the moment available.
I don't think the manager's the issue.
You would take Zidane?
That's not even. Zidane wouldn't come Tottenham. I'm not even going to try and like England.
Zidane wouldn't even come England.
Hey, George, Thomas Tuchel?
I wouldn't say Thomas Tuchel as well. I'm done getting a Chelsea reject. We've had two of them. We could have.
Hey, relax, bro. Relax. Chill.
I just had to ask.
George,
I just had to ask. That's fair enough.
Chill.
Though.
Okay,
Fair enough.
I like that.
Respect your big bros, man.
I'm going to do a few more of these super chats here. This one here from Roman says, and that right there is the confusion. Why would George think Spurs would win a trophy? So baffled by this dead club and its fans. Come on, you gooners. I think that was predictable from Roman there. Thank you for the super chat, though. I know many Spurs fans who are more annoyed about the style of football than top four or a trophy. Football is entertainment, and they are not being entertained. Does that matter more to you, George? What matters more, winning trophies? Or, I mean, ideally you want both, but if you could pick winning trophies or being entertained, which would you pick?
Mine is 100% winning trophies, and that's why I was happy with Conte at the start of the season and continue to be happy with Conte if he had the tools. But as we go, if he doesn't get the tools and he's not going to be here, we do need to start seeing some type of good football, because if we're not winning trophies, you need one of the two.
No, but that's why Levy is the issue, because Levy is the problem. If Levy will not allow Tottenham to construct a team that can go ahead and win trophies, hence why you might as well just settle for vibes. Because if you have Levy, it's got to be vibes. But if you remove Levy and you have someone that actually wants to invest in players that can actually try and win something, then it can say something. So, George, you wanting trophies with Levy in charge makes no sense. It makes no sense. Bro.
Well, in wanting it makes sense, but it's difficult to do. Nick here says Arsenal lost Jesus 5 points ahead. For 3 to 4 months later, we're still 5 points ahead due to a great system. If Spurs lost Kane, they'd be in the bottom half of the table, is what Nick says here. It's a fair point there. In terms of the top four race, though, Sonny, are Tottenham going to be overtaken by Liverpool?
100%. I seen from Man United midweek. I originally actually did think after the 7-0 that United might have dropped out of top four. But the way they reacted against a good Spanish team, I think it's fair enough that they'll probably stay in it. So Tottenham are the only team to take out of the top four, and Tottenham are Tottenham. I mean, how do they not get taken out of the top four at this stage? It's almost harder to not do than to do.
I don't see how you say that and so confidently as a Liverpool fan, especially because you guys. No. You can talk about previous season, but let's talk about this season. Yes, you had a big win against Man United, but apart from that, for the past couple of months, you've still been choppy. You've still been choppy. And look, wait, you're talking about form. Have you checked what your games are? After your next game of Bournemouth, you then have Real Madrid, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, all back to back.
I'm aware.
I wouldn't be so confident going into those games where you think that top four is easy when you've got a lot of points that you need to pick up against.
Because I know we're good enough to beat all of those teams.
We've already beaten half the teams. I'm confident that you guys are going to drop points, though, George. I mean, like, you guys also have to pick up points. Like, I think people can be confident that you guys will probably drop more points, regardless to who you guys are playing. Do you know what I mean?
Can I go back to that running you mentioned? I think you said, I know who it is anyway. I think it's Man City at home after, in terms of our league games after Bournemouth tomorrow. Unless tomorrow, by the way, we play Bournemouth, who last time we beat 9-0. Like, I think we can get that out of the way. And then we have Man United, not Man United, Man City away. Right? We beat Man City at home. I think that was a comfortable win. And then after Man City at home or away, I think it's Chelsea away. Chelsea at home, look, we both went through an awful patch. When we play Chelsea away, I think, look, we are better than Chelsea. Chelsea can just about scrape 2 goals in a game. We should easily be beating Chelsea, if we're honest. And after that, there is Arsenal at home, which I think is probably the second toughest game, because Man City, obviously, they're the best team in the league. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, no. Sonny, my point here is, where do you see yourself picking up points? Because, again, Arsenal, yes, they're going to be going away, and I don't think they'll beat you guys at Anfield. It's still going to be a very tough game. It's going to be hard for you guys to get points against them, just like against the City game. City away, you don't get points against City away far too often. you can't
Alright,
be
so-
confident picking up.
I
Sonny,
think it's simple, man.
Sonny, what's your predictions for them 4 games then? Because like you said, it's Bournemouth away,
What?
City away, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home. So Bournemouth away, what are you saying? Win, lose, or
Bournemouth
draw?
away, we win comfortably.
Okay, so that's 3 points. City away.
Yeah. City away, we get a draw, which is the only
So that's-
game I think we'll
so
draw
that's 4
points in.
points. So that's 4
And
points. Chelsea away,
then Chelsea away, we win.
7.
Hey,
and then Arsenal at
And
home.
Arsenal at home, we win as well.
All right, 10 points. I know Terry's about to clip that up, so people are that's flawless on Twitter and Instagram, please.
How are
You
you
know what
so
I'm saying? That's
confident
definitely
that
getting
they
clipped
would've
up,
beat
so
the
let me just
boys
get
at
this
the
out
bridge?
here. That's me flawless on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to Sarcasm City TV on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you. Go on,
Make sure you clip that up when we do win those games
that's
as well.
definitely.
by the
I
way.
know Terry. That's definitely getting
Well, that'll
clipped
be
up,
clipped
100%.
up. This will be getting clipped up beforehand because, of course, football fans like to see predictions. But if you get 10 points in 12 games, 100% Liverpool will make it into the top 4. But I actually agree with Sonny. I think Liverpool will catch and overtake Tottenham. Tottenham, they've already gone. Their manager does not want to be there. Their players are angry, and he is just going to continue to sabotage your season. And Newcastle are not in great form. There's nobody else to compete with Liverpool for the top 4 position. Newcastle are going to sink like a stone now. They're going to go, and Spurs are going to do very, very similar. I think it may not be a whitewash. They might not be clear of Spurs by 10, 12 points, but I think they'll finish anywhere between 4 to 6 points ahead of Tottenham in that 4th place position. And then it's peak for Tottenham. If you have no Champions League football, you've got that big old concert arena and no Champions League football. It's going to be mad. But yeah,
But we're going back to earlier. What's the point with Spurs getting top 4? It's like a virgin going into a nightclub. There's no point you being there. Like, you're not doing anything
Hang on a
in the
minute.
Champions League.
Are you saying you only go to nightclubs to try and have sexual intercourse?
No.
That's exactly what he's
Moving
saying.
on.
I'm sure the better than to go to a nightclub.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's
You know,
exactly-
how old are you, Ness? How old are
Hey,
you,
Sonny,
Ness?
I don't judge.
I'm almost 19.
Yeah, he's out and about, and he's out and about.
Hey,
He's
do
out,
your thing, man.
He's out every Saturday in the clubs.
Do
I
your
remember
thing.
being your age. You put on the Versace blue jeans, and you're like, right.
No, I ain't wearing Versace blue jeans. Don't be silly. I got drip, man.
You've got drip. I like that. I like that. What are you saying, Jess? Who's making that final top 4 position? Or do you think Man United might drop out as well?
I mean, it's so crazy because before the Liverpool Man United game, I thought the top 4 would stay as it is. I was 100%. I was like, it's going to be Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Spurs. But it's crazy how your opinions can change off of the back of a big result, I think Liverpool can get it. I really do. I think when I'm watch them, you know what? It depends, because as good as Liverpool looked, we know Man United were crap. So if they go and play against Bournemouth and they look like they kind of looked against Crystal Palace and stuff like that, then maybe I'll change my mind. But I do think Liverpool are moving in the right direction with the clean sheets, and their players are starting to hit a little bit of a stride. And I just think Spurs from here on out, they're not really playing for anything. Their manager don't want to be there. The players aren't happy. I could see that really creeping into the minds, and then it's creeping onto the pitch as well. So I do think Liverpool will make it, but I will change my prediction again if you guys play against Bournemouth and you guys don't look like you did against Man United. You have to.
But what if we win? What if we just win and play bad?
You have to play well. You have to play
No,
well.
we don't. Stop
We're
that.
playing against Bournemouth.
Everyone's
Sonny.
going about when Arsenal beat Bournemouth. It's all right, lads. We don't need to play well. We won the game. It's fine.
Well, the
That's what
difference
winners do.
between Liverpool and Arsenal at this point in the season is we've been playing well, so we have nothing to prove. You haven't, so now you have to, start. You know what I mean? We're in different stages at this point. You know what I mean? But I think you guys will make it. But because of the nature of the way that you guys beat Man United and the way that we can't really underplay the Man United were really bad, it'll be interesting to see how good you guys look against Bournemouth. You guys should sweep them away, but I want to see you guys look good while doing it, like not barely scraping it. Do you know what I mean? But I think you'll make it.
Flawless, I'll ask you a question about Liverpool in top 4. After the gas that Liverpool fans have shown all week, man like Hussam making himself physically ill through celebrating. I've heard the diabetes rate has gone up in Liverpool by about 3,000% because of all the 7-Up they've been drinking. If Liverpool don't now make top 4, and therefore there is 0 singular achievements this season for them, like, I mean, how embarrassing of a season would that be for Liverpool now if they don't make the top 4?
I think it's already been an embarrassing season anyway, even if they make top 4. Their objective at the start of the season was to go win the Premier League and go win the Champions League. They failed at both. Side missions was to go win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. They also failed at both. So the fact they are top 4, it's a consolation prize. I'm calling it a consolation prize, is being kind. I just can't think of a word lesser than consolation. So it's already been a failure. If they manage to scrape top 4, and it's more so not even them being great, because I think they will get it. It's just that I don't rate the teams in front of them like that. Newcastle are great defensively, but can't score goals. I watched a lot of Newcastle specifically before we played them, because I was like, I'm hearing a lot of hype. Let me actually sit down and watch them. Defensively, great. No problems. Midfield's workmanlike, and you got Bruno G in there being the magic, but they can't score goals. Spurs, we spoke on, and we know about Spurs. The manager don't want to be there. Their star player could be leaving. It's all set up for Liverpool to go and take top 4 spot. And one thing Liverpool can do, as we've seen, is score goals. So they don't even have to be great to finish top 4. But the season's already been an embarrassment and already been a failure. They went from chasing 4 trophies last season to now chasing top 4. Well, because it's Jurgen Klopp and the media darling, people don't want to talk about it. If that was Manchester United, it'd be a whole different conversation. Bear in mind, last season he didn't win the Premier League or the Champions League. But because they were chasing 4 trophies, people want to sugarcoat. It's like, no, he's failed 2 years in a row. His whole remit and his whole.
You can't say fail.
He has. So what? He did fail. He has failed. He did fail. See, this is the point I'm talking about.
In terms of if you're saying he's like not won the Premier League, fair enough, because obviously he hasn't that year. But when you finish 1 point behind, you cannot use the word fail. Like,
I can use the word fail. I can use the. And this comes back to what I was saying. You lot glorify this. I said it to Hassam. I've said it before. You lot are the greatest runners up of all time, and you wear it as a badge of honor. You man, I've said it before.
No, it's not a badge of honor.
It is a badge. You just said it there. We just finished 1 minute. You man are Luigi. You man are proud Luigis. That's what you are. You are proud Luigis. Extremely proud.
Flawless is bang on. Flawless is bang on. Listen, you had every single right to celebrate your win at the weekend. But I've seen Liverpool fans this week say they would give back Carabao Cups, give back FA Cups, just to be able to do this again. That's a lie. That's a projection to make the win look bigger and better than it is, so you can take some kind of sort of moral win out of the season. Just as when you came second in the league to Liverpool and to City, and you had fans phoning into Talk Sport saying, we need the Premier League to commission a special trophy to give to us as the best second place team of all time. You guys do you fail, but then you try and create a win out of the failure. No other club I've ever seen in the top 6 does that. Not even Tottenham. Like, no one else does that.
Yeah, because they're proud. Because Terry, they're proud runners up. You know what I'm saying? That they are proud to be tails. And I've said it before, they are the best runners up we have ever seen and will ever see again in the Premier League era. And they're proud of it.
We shouldn't take into account that they're playing against like one of the best teams at the Premier League. Is that like I see that all the time, like, but you guys weren't playing against Pep and it's so hard and all that kind of stuff. Like, does that stuff even matter?
Statistically, no. Of course it matters.
You lost.
If it matters, then we have to acknowledge that Klopp's not as great as he is. Then we need to strip that away. If we have to acknowledge, if it's we're up against Pep and Pep's his senior and Pep's just better than Klopp, we have to stop putting him on the same pedestal.
Klopp's beaten Pep.
Yeah, he has one time. Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys kind of got this out of like the Arsenal playbook as well. Like I remember like shades of, well, you guys didn't have to go against like the best United sides and all this kind of stuff. And we were able to make a little dent and stuff like that. But really, we just didn't do enough to compete long enough, you know?
The failures or the least successful teams always make a narrative. Spurs fans do it with Kane at the minute. They tried to compare him to Henry's and Aguero's and Rooney's when they've won trophies, and they've tried to create this narrative, and some of the media has done it where, well, winning trophies isn't that important. It's the first time in the history of football, 130 plus years, that winning trophies is suddenly disregarded. Coming second is coming second. You know, there was a lot of Arsenal fans for years that, actually Wenger's better and our team was better. We didn't have the money or the resources that Man United do. Therefore, our 3 Premier Leagues were actually better than your 13. No, you just weren't as good. As a club, you just weren't as good, as big, as powerful, as successful as Man United. And that's the long and the short of it. So I do agree. Like, you've just got to learn to You've got to learn to take your L's, man. You've got to learn to take your L's.
It's mental gymnastics to defend him because he's their darling. And in the modern era, Klopp is the most successful Liverpool manager. So then when he's criticized, they feel the need to defend him. Bear in mind, this conversation sparked because I said when they was on for the quad, Klopp failed at his main objectives. That's a fact. I'm not making a joke. His objectives are to win the Premier League and or the Champions League. He failed at both this season. He failed at both last season. He'll fail at both next season as well, because I don't think he'll win another major trophy at Liverpool. And Liverpool fans will still defend it. People will do.
But that's where you have
no,
zero content.
But I think that I think there's a split though. I feel that there's a part of the fan base, specifically in Liverpool, or hardcore fans who are, the moment Klopp won that Premier League, that's it.
Yes.
They will never sack him. But there are other Liverpool fans who may not be from the area of Liverpool or as hardcore as them, who, and I've spoken to them, who've said Klopp needs to go. I've spoken to, before the 7-0, I spoke to several Liverpool fans, even after the 7-0, who said Klopp has taken this team as far as he can. He's been far too low to specific players. He must go. So I do think that there are a lot of Liverpool fans who are like, nah, Klopp isn't this kind of like sacred holy grail kind of a manager. Like, no, thank you for giving us the EPL and the Champions League, but with the way this team is going, someone else needs to come in to sort of rejig the team, because it's something similar that happened against Dortmund. But the issue with that 7-0 is, with that 7-0, is anyone still going to call for Klopp to be sacked? Specifically those hardcore Liverpool fans, because I think the Premier League and that 7-0, that's fine with Klopp. They'll even triple down with, like, even if we finish 10,
7-0 is not anything to, like, it doesn't change anything. If you got, like, it doesn't change anything. Why would that mean anything?
But Jess is right. It only matters if Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool start playing better, they won't beat Real Madrid, in my opinion. But say they put in a really good show over there and win 3-1. Don't they go out, but they put a good show in. They win. They beat Bournemouth. They beat City. They beat Arsenal. They get a result against Chelsea, and they're back in the top 4. Then people will start to change their mind. But if they drop a stinky draw to Bournemouth, get slapped up by Real Madrid, and then lose to City, without a shadow of a doubt, all the Liverpool fans saying Klopp out before the Man United game will be straight back onto the Klopp out notion, and the 7-0 victory will become a very distant memory. That's why the over-indexing of it this week is we're never, ever going to forget it. No, you'll never forget it. I'll never forget we beat Arsenal 8-2 as an example. But it's irrelevant. It's been irrelevant for about over a decade now when it comes to talking about football. It doesn't come up. And it didn't, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer beat Southampton 9-0, that didn't stop me from wanting him sacked when he failed. Like, at the end of the day, Jurgen Klopp has got to deliver the only objective that Liverpool fans really care about. They can lie all they want online and bring out dead banter against Man United, but the only commodity Liverpool supporters deal in is trophies. That's why they are the most decorated club in England. And whenever I've seen Liverpool fans argue online about why they're the biggest, they've never mentioned, up until recently, they never mentioned score lines or records or points totals. It was always total trophies. The only time I've seen them mention points totals is in the debate against Klopp versus Pep, where suddenly the points totals and the net spend is suddenly a record and an achievement. But yet, when it comes to the rest of their history, no, just the trophies matter. And we're going to do no contextualization. We're not going to look at the teams we were competing against and the budgets they had compared to us. It's just who won. And that's fine. I get why you're doing it. But Liverpool only deal in trophies. This season has been an abject failure. Top 4 would be, I think you called it right, Flawless, a consolation prize. And from this moment, with the form Newcastle and Tottenham are in, if they don't make the top 4, Jurgen Klopp should hand in his resignation, because it's beyond failure. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing from this point.
Let's go.
To go from
I don't know where you're going with this, but let's go.
Imagine nearly winning a quad and the following year being slapped out of all competitions and then failing to get top 4 to this Newcastle team or Tottenham team. That is beyond embarrassing with what you've spent as well, bruv. You broke records on players.
Let me tell you what's embarrassing, right? So I think it's a 2020 season. This is the season after we've won the league, by the way, yeah? By like breaking records. We're out of the top 4. We're fighting to get back in it. We had to rely on an Alisson goal to help us get back into it. Everything was going against us. Injuries, and we have the same this season. After the season, the 2020 season, where we just about got back into the top 4, one of the last games of the season, we're like Nat Phillips at centre-back. The next season, we went for the quadruple. Do you know how crazy that is? Everyone wrote us off that season. Everyone over the summer said, yeah, Liverpool probably get top 4 again. We almost won every single trophy we could have possibly won. And now we're in this season again, where we're going through a bit of a rough time. We have loads of injuries. That list goes on and on and on, right? And now we're saying, because we're going through a similar situation, going for top 4 towards the end of the season, nah, sack it. Sack it. Why would you sack it? because I would not be surprised if next season we go and compete for all trophies again.
No,
all we need is our players back.
No. Did you know what
Before you go, one sec.
The
key word in what you said there was almost when you went the quadruple.
But
Almost is not.
No. But in terms of getting the manager sacked, that's irrelevant because I'm
not talking about him being sacked or not. I'm talking about what his objectives are, and this is where this conversation sparked from. Still is he has objectives to hit, and he didn't reach them.
Sonny, you're also failing.
We already know Klopp's a winner.
But Sonny, also failing to highlight that's last season. You had all your best players. You had the likes of Mane, Salah, Van Dijk. You had all these players that are still in top form.
Wait, what season are you talking about?
Since then, last season when you went for the quadruple, since then Mane's left. Van Dijk hasn't looked the same. We can all admit that he just hasn't. Salah, although he's still doing good, he's not the same player. He's not the guy, and he's not going out there digging out for all these trophies. Because if another team comes in, let's know he's ready to go. Salah's on 400k a week. He's living comfy right now. He's living comfy right now. He's really not that bothered. So all these things that you're talking about, you wouldn't be surprised you come back next season. There's so much that you would need to do to get back into the position you was last season.
And there's so much that will be done.
Revitalize the whole squad and bringing at least another 6 or 7 players for you guys to be back at that point.
6 or 7 players.
But I'm not but some of this is isn't this on him anyway? You guys have kind of sustained the same players that are always injury prone. And to be honest, this sounds a lot like you guys are doing what we did with Arsene, and he should have left 10 years before he left. Okay, you guys are creeping up on it.
That's the issue, guys. I've got to go to some super chats here and then get some predictions in. But what is really interesting for me is listen, Liverpool fans. Of course, I understand why you'd back Klopp, but I saw you all. I can see you all now in the comments. I saw you same people in my comments 2 weeks ago saying he's got to go. One win later, and the world's changed. I would say wait a little bit before you make that decision and that change. Personally, super chat here says Terry and Flawless. There's the only top red mentality. The majority of Liverpool fans aren't content with mediocrity. Agree with you on that. This here says the bottom left looking like Frozone. Fair enough. O'Malley here says don't sleep on Brighton. They have to play all the top 6 bar Liverpool with 3 games in hand. Their underlying metrics show they are a top 4, top 5 team. What O'Malley says. Nikhil came in here and said Kane might go on to become the all-time Premier League leading goal scorer, but even King Kanu could be considered more of a successful player because of the trophies he won where he went, is what Nikhil has got to say here. Thank you very much for that super chat. Listen, he's got to add trophies to gain that legacy, there's no doubt. But this weekend, there's some score predictions to do here. The first one, we're going to do Bournemouth, Liverpool. What you saying, Sonny? What's going to be the score?
I'm saying 5-0 Liverpool. Just look at the evidence. 7 in our last game. Last time we played Bournemouth, 9-0. I think minimum it's got to be 3, and I think it's not too hard to put in a good performance at Bournemouth. I think what's their capacity? 8,000. They haven't got enough fans to even make an atmosphere, so I think we're all right.
Big prediction there. What are you saying, George? Bournemouth versus Liverpool.
It's an early kickoff. We all know about that early kickoff, man. You don't bet on it because a lot of weird things happen.
You've been watching too much Tottenham, man.
So I would not be surprised if we see them drop some points. Not a Bournemouth win, but if we see like a 2-2 draw, I wouldn't be surprised, man.
3-0 Liverpool, man. 3-0 Liverpool.
What are you saying, Flawless?
I'm saying 1-1. I think the early kick. Yeah, I'm saying
early kick there. I see.
I'm saying 1-1.
What are you saying, Jay?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool. It's not gonna be smooth sailing. I don't think so.
And look, Roms has just put in the chat, Sonny, you haven't won an early kickoff this season. Don't be surprised.
We haven't played many early kickoffs this season. I'm gonna
go with 3-1 to Liverpool. I think they'll do it. I'd love them to drop points in this game because it would just be sensational. I'd love them to choke on their 7-up, if I'm being honest with you. I really, really would. Also, the other game that we've already sort of spoke about, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. What are you saying, Sonny?
Where's that? It doesn't matter where it is. 1-1.
No, it's at Tottenham. It's at Tottenham.
Yeah, 1-1.
1-1. Wrote them straight off. What are you saying, George?
You know, I want to say we're going to win, but I actually don't think. No, I'll go for 2-1 because I think we can win, but I don't know if we will. I'll be honest.
Man's like, we're definitely making top 4, but he doesn't know if he can beat Forest at home. What you saying, Have Hope?
1-1.
1-1. Flawless.
I think I got Spurs 2-0.
Jay.
1-1.
I'm going to go 2-0 Tottenham as well. I think Tottenham will be fine in this game. You know, it's almost one of those things when, as the pressure starts to get relieved more and more, you'll get better and better.
Nothing to play for anymore.
Yeah, like almost an element of that. I think that's what's going to happen with that. We actually did run a poll while we were talking as well. Who makes the top 4? 82% have voted for Liverpool to make the top 4 over Tottenham for the remainder of the season. Thank you very much for voting.
People know.
Obviously, we mentioned Liverpool. They had the big result of the weekend. Flawless, how happy were you with the reaction last night by Man United?
Oh, in terms of the result, over the moon. I said we needed to make sure we put the tie to bed like in the first leg and pretty much make the second leg a formality. And that's exactly what we did. The performance wasn't as good as I wanted it to be in terms of like the first 10, 15 minutes. Obviously, Rashford getting the early goal, we was flying. And then as soon as Betis equalized, we felt flat. And we didn't fold, but the players were folding. And I'm on the watch along saying the players need to stand up here. And then it's obviously gone half time. It's 1-1. I'm expecting a reaction in the second half. Didn't get it. We were kind of like a boxer or a UFC fighter who'd been stunned and we're just out there on jelly legs. And that's what it was. Unfortunately enough for us, Betis didn't really have any quality like that going forward. And the game was just drifting. And I'm like, we got to stand up and be counted here. Otherwise, this can get tough. Fortunately enough, Anthony produced a piece of magic. He scores the second goal, puts us back in front. And from then on, it was plain sailing. And they were lucky that it was only 4. It could have been 5, 6, 7, 8s. So in terms of, like I said, the result, over the moon about performance could have been better, but we bounced back, which was the main thing. Because had we drawn, it would have been even more of a conversation about the mentality of the players. Is Ten Hag good enough? But I didn't need the game at Liverpool, that debacle that happened at Anfield, to let me know about certain players. Because I've been saying all season long, we're not good enough to go and compete for a league title. Look at the team. Ten Hag's overachieving massively. He's performing to his maximum. These players,
but you have Casemiro.
Yeah. So we do have Casemiro. We also have Fred next to him. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of made me laugh this week.
I mean, so you have a Real Madrid legend and so forth, and you're overachieving.
Yeah. 1 second.
We are overachieving.
Have hope. But this is what you're doing. See, and again, I saw the banter all week and I ignored it. Well, you've got one of the best centre backs and one of the best DMs and one of the best informed attackers. We do, but that isn't what makes a team up. That isn't what makes a team. Like, the team is about the system. The team is about individuals doing their job right. And, you know, Jess tried to go me maybe 3 weeks running. Say you're in a title race. And I wouldn't do it because I knew.
Look, you're too smart.
We didn't have I didn't expect a 7-0 drumming, but I expected, and I said it on many streams, and I know the viewers remember this. They'll pretend they don't. I said there'll be another couple of Villa results where we just get outclassed and blown away by a couple of teams, and we'll still win. And we are still a way away from doing that. But I think, as you said, the reaction last night was key because we had that wobble, and I was sitting there watching the game when they equalized. They nearly got a second goal. Terrible passing out from the back from De Gea. They hit the post. And listen, my guy, I don't even know his name, who was celebrating before he hit the post. If he was actually following that ball in, he taps it in, it's 2-1. And I don't know if we'd have recovered from that point.
That's what it is.
We came out in the second half and we were great. And by the sort of 60 minutes onwards, we were purring. The players they had their swagger back about them. And that was important ahead of this game against Southampton because it's our last Premier League game before the international break. Most teams, barring Liverpool, play twice because we've got an FA Cup game. We have to win. And although they're the worst team in the league this year, you could argue Bournemouth maybe, but they're the worst team.
We've seen what he did to Chelsea, so
exactly. You've got to be on point and win tomorrow. And the 7-0 talk goes away. It finishes for us as a club. Rivals, they'll still talk about it forever. That's all they've really got against us so far this year, and they'll hang on to it. But I think the players will be over it if we get a good, solid win this week. But beating Real Betis was so important. And a lot of people are playing down how good. Listen, they're 5th in La Liga. Real Madrid couldn't score against them. They stuck 5 past Liverpool. So we know Betis are a decent team. Are they world beaters? No. But they're not exactly cannon fodder. They're not Bournemouth, you know. They're not average Joe nobody. They're a decent side.
We treated them like they're 5th in the league. That's what it is. Because people was trying to hype them up to me. And I'm like, if we can't beat the team who's 5th in the Liga, burn this all down to the ground now. And we need to start again. We are much further behind than I thought. And that's exactly what we did. And to have hope, and you said to me about Manchester United overachieving. I'm talking about from the start of the season. So I'm not talking about when we signed Casemiro, when we signed Antony, when we signed Martinez, Malacia, Ericsson, etc. We just came off our worst ever Premier League season ever. When I'm looking at the game, looking at the squad, we got a new manager coming in. At that point, I'm like, if we finish 5th or 6th and win a Carabao Cup, I will take your 2 arms off.
But
that was the maximum I thought we could.
I don't want to hear the word overachieving with a Man United. Sorry, like for me, that doesn't. So him being in 3rd and so forth isn't overachieving. It's freaking Man United. It's not Tottenham or Southampton. So, and also, the moment you signed Casemiro, even if you had Fred,
have hope. Have hope. Sorry, are you? I just want to check. Are you League Gunner or you have hope?
My name is Halford.
Finish.
I'll let you finish it. I'm gonna rebuttal that. So go on. The floor is yours, man.
No. See, I've got basically 2 points to make. I don't want to hear any crap about this overachieving when you're Man United with the amount of money that you've spent and you've signed Casemiro, who everyone accepts is the best DM in the world. Other points is that 7-0 will always matter. It doesn't matter what you do against Southampton and so forth because it's called a rivalry. For as long, unless you do something similar to Liverpool, it will always matter based on how intense that rivalry is. Barca fans still talk to Real Madrid about the 5-0 they gave them. That result is going to stand for several years because of how intense that rivalry is. So you beating Southampton and so forth will not erase that crap that I just saw because that was embarrassing. To lose 7-0 to a rival like Liverpool is ridiculously embarrassing because it's Liverpool. So
it is 100%. I agree with the last part. So all right. So the first part you stated that you don't want to hear about us overachieving because what you've done is made the mistake what many Manchester United fans do as well, and they talk about us as Manchester United in name. Manchester United in name, yes, you are 110% correct. But guess what? We're Manchester United in name only. Look at the team. Look at the squad. There's a reason we are 10 years removed. Yes, it is 10 years. 10 years removed from winning a Premier League title. We are 10 years removed from even competing for a Premier League title. We haven't sniffed a Champions League final in however long. We haven't sniffed a Champions League semi-final in however long. We haven't won. No, we haven't. No, let me finish. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. So let me go in it. So let me go. We also haven't won back-to-back Champions League knockout ties in back-to-back seasons. So what you're talking about is Manchester United and rival fans like to do this as well, which I understand because they're trying to banter us. We are United in name only. So when we're coming off our worst ever season and we finish 7th, you can't tell me being in third, on for 3 trophies, on for a treble, having 1 trophy in the bag is not overachieving. Like I stated before, my objective, this is me personally, so you can shake your head. This is me personally. I was saying at the start of the season, 5th or 6th, Carabao Cup style of play, and I will take that. That's the maximum I thought we could do.
So can I make sure I get clarity on the fact that, so you agree that there are Man United fans that are maybe delusional about where you guys are?
I argue with them.
They exist every single day because every time I talk about them, I'm told that these United fans don't exist. I know it's not y'all, but I've been seeing crazy stuff, and that's I feel like that's why people are like we're desperate for that humbling or whatever.
I get
because
that,
even though you guys have the Casemiros and all that kind of stuff, if that doesn't matter and that doesn't make up the team, why do I keep hearing that you have the best players in every single position?
Well, because you said it there. Our fans are delusional.
They're idiots. So but Jay, me and you have spoke about this on Straight Fact shows. Now, not to be rude, I gave you exactly the same response that Flawless did. Firstly, I said, "Who's saying it?" Because I honestly, I'll be honest with you. All the people I see tweet like that, I just hit the mute or block button instantly. I don't follow people like that because I don't even think they believe it. If I'm being honest with you, it's all said. There's that guy on TikTok. Nice enough lad, probably the brother with the beard, who he screamed into a phone yesterday about after Rashford scored and ended it with "we're winning the quad again" or something mad like that. And it's kind of like, why would you praise Rashford, but why say we're winning the quad when there's no way we're winning the league? I don't take these people seriously. But what Flawless said is bang on. The Man United by name only, and I'll throw it back at you. Have hope now. You've lost the argument again because you've gone back on something. I'll tell you why. If you let me finish. For me and you have been streaming together for 6 years, and for 6 years you've said Man United, because they haven't won anything major, are a dead club, and we're irrelevant now in terms of football conversations. So if we're irrelevant from football conversations, how can being 3rd in the league and on course to win 3 trophies not be an overachievement? Unless you're stating that we are still relevant, and therefore we should be judged only ever as Man United by our history.
Both,
So
both,
again, let me finish. So again, that's what people do. 1 minute Man United are dead and we're never going to be revived. Then when we win a trophy or two, it's like, well, you guys should be doing this because you're the biggest team in the world. Well, why are you not saying we're the biggest team in the world ahead of time, only after the fact we win a trophy? Secondly, we are underachieving based on our history. Even if we come third this year and win 3 trophies, we know we're underachieving because we have to go on to win Premier Leagues and win Champions Leagues. However, just like with Arsenal, and this is where, again, my credibility comes out. I spoke about it for 2 years. Step change. You can't expect to fall from grace and be out of the reckoning for a decade, and after one summer, go back to being one of the best teams around. Liverpool certainly didn't do it. Man City got new owners who spent billions when FFP wasn't a thing. They didn't win the league in their first year. They still ain't won a Champions League 12 years on. It took Chelsea were already a Champions League team. They won a league pretty quickly. It took you the best part of a decade to win a Champions League. It takes time to build these squads and rebuild things. Man United, after being the most dominant team in England, it took 27 years to win another league title, and it took Fergie 5 to 6 years to revive the football club. This nonsense that Man United fans can't be happy with winning trophies on our way to getting back to where we want to be is an absolute travesty of an opinion, because you as an individual have hope, have said for years we're not even relevant anymore. So you're clearly lying about one of the two opinions. Which one was it?
He got you.
Both things. Both things can be true. No. Both things can be true. If you're not speaking fluent trophy, that makes you relevant. But at the same time, because it's Manchester United, I'd never want to hear the word overachieving with Manchester United. Now, you can say that what Ten Hag is doing is really good.
Let me just interject. But me and Flawless, and I'm speaking for Flawless here, I think you'll agree, we're talking in the context of this singular season, based on what everybody expected at the start. We are over it because you didn't predict.
So let me ask you, have hope then. So let me ask you, do you believe the United team currently is constructed is good enough to win a Premier League title? What is the delay?
Let
me click F5. I need to click F5. Did I freeze? You can't do the mannequin challenge. Come on, man. We can run jokes, but let's have an honest conversation in it.
Okay, anybody what's a tricky question? Okay, it's tricky because...
No, can you please answer the question? No, it's not tricky. At the start of the season, after Manchester United made all of their signings, is that team as constructed good enough to win the Premier League? Yes or no?
Probably not.
No. Don't hit us with the probably not. It's a yes or no. Okay then. So we'll fall short of that. So if we get anywhere close to that or finish in the top 3, we are overachieving. I guarantee you won't admit it now. This is the first time we spoke. I guarantee you didn't have us finishing in the top 4 this season. Guarantee at the start. At the start.
No, Flawless.
What was your prediction? Okay, another question. What was your prediction? No. What was your prediction of top 4? What was your prediction top 4?
Top 4 what?
No, what was your prediction for top 4 though?
Before or after Casemiro?
No. Before both.
Oh, no. I'll give you so before Casemiro, I'd have said maybe 5th. After Casemiro, at least 3rd.
At least 3rd. So at least 3rd. So who was the 2 above them?
I want evidence. Sorry, Flawless. I want evidence. I want evidence. You said this, bro, because I think you're absolutely.
You know he's lying, man. You know he's lying.
I didn't know you were going to get Casemiro. I didn't know.
You were on the football terrace in September after the signings were done, and you were predicting us coming 6th.
See? Hey, I remember that.
Have hope. They have this thing here called, the Terrace. These things are live streamed and people can go watch them back. This is the first time we've met, and I know you're lying. You're lying.
Don't be flawed. Don't be flawed because you're being flawed now.
Have hope. Your name is being changed now on the Terrace. You no longer have hope. You're now lost hope. It's finished now. You're done.
Can I actually defend myself in peace? This is what I was saying.
Hey, you're already dead. You're already dead.
Let me defend myself. Before the season started, you're right. I didn't have to finish in top 4. But after you got Casemiro, United fans want to. You are cyberbullying me to make me buy into this complete BS of overachieving. Oh my God, we're doing so good. Oh please, give me a break.
All right. So let's get to it then. You said no. Kill that dead. So you said we was top 3. So you didn't have Arsenal in the top 2. So where was Chelsea and Arsenal in your top six, your mythical top six.
So you think after Casemiro?
After Casemiro, yeah. Who was the 1 and 2?
The
I know you
after
had Manchester City
Casemiro
one.
thing is killing me.
We'll go after Cas in it, since you want to keep bringing him up.
Look, see, after the case, Arsenal were already doing pretty well. So after the case,
just answer the question.
You're lying.
No,
you had us in like 6.
Who was your top 4? What was your top 6 after Casemiro? What was your top 6? Who did you think in order?
City.
So City were number 1. Who was number 2?
City, Arsenal
2. Manchester United 3.
Yes.
There's no way. There's no way.
You never know.
So,
no, he's lying. You just gotta let him lie, man. You gotta let him lie. You know what I'm saying?
I'm speaking my truth.
So United 3. So you had City 1, Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. Who was 4th?
The biggest club in the world, Chelsea.
Who? So Chelsea. Who was 5th?
5th?
Yes.
5th was Liverpool.
And 6th was Spurs, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yes.
You're lying.
See, the people know.
You're telling me as a Chelsea fan at the start of this season, when you were making videos like this, celebrating Todd Bowley and what you were doing, you're telling me you put both Man United and Arsenal above you. Get the hell out of here. Get out. Get out.
I would have remembered that. I would have remembered if you had said that we were like 2nd or 3rd or anything. I would have remembered that because you were a grade A hater.
I'm pretty sure
and I know you did not say that.
Listen, this whole, I don't care what you guys say. I will never ever use that overachieving crap.
Yeah, because it's Manchester United, and it don't suit your narrative. That's what it is, and I understand that. You want to talk about us in name only.
I'll accept it.
I know you'll never accept it because your team's massively underachieved. So that's the only win that you can get. I understand that. Because your team's massively underachieved. Manchester United can't overachieve.
Wait, are you in the UCL quarterfinal? Are you in the UCL quarterfinal draw next week? Are you? Are you in the UCL quarterfinal draw? We are.
Are you going to win it? Are you going to win it? Are you going to win it? Are you just going to be the also ranting in it? Yeah, exactly. You ain't gonna win it. You're gonna do the also ranting. You just the Liverpool of the UCL. That's all it is.
I
never proud Luigi, man. Hella people. Sorry, Sonny. I'm just using you as an example. Hella proud runners up. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna win it, what's the point of being in it? You don't think you can win it? Can you win it? Have hope. Can you win it?
I speak fluent
UCL. To
UCL.
Tottenham, man, not Liverpool.
Say that again. Can you win it?
I speak fluent UCL. You speak a basic.
Yeah. You can't win it. Exactly. You have no faith in your team. Otherwise, you would say so. You know you're getting bopped. You there on your knees praying to get a Benfica, praying to get the Interporto winner. You on your knees. Pause. Let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's not do that because you know if you get Real Madrid or Napoli, you're not going through. Otherwise, you'd say so. Come on, man.
Or Liverpool.
100%.
I've literally never seen you this quiet. It's so funny.
It's because he lied. He lied. He got called out for his lies. He got called out for his lies. Mark here says, have a beer on me, boss. Enjoy a chilled and safe weekend, my man. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. This here says, big up my guy, Flawless. I see you out there. It's from Marcel, the Liverpool fan. This says United is still in a rebuild process and we are overachieving this season. You're absolutely spot on, Tony. And equally, listen, if you guys ever want to come on here with tweets from crazy or videos from crazy Man United fans, I will cook them like we just saw Have Hope get barbecued because they're the reason that we got so much. Listen, we got stick either way losing that game, but they're hyping up the pressure on us more than anybody else. And we don't need to talking about winning quads. Idiots. Them United fans flip quick from the Liverpool conversation. In fairness, Have Hope did it. Have Hope did it. Man United have the highest net spend. Net spend isn't real though, my bro. So it doesn't exist in football. It's not used at all. We can't still be talking. Net spend is based on your profits versus how much you spend. Man United have the lowest because we make the most amount of money. But it says since 2017, the last year they won a trophy prior to the Carabao Cup, somehow they are overachieving. So again, I don't want to go through it in detail, but Flawless has answered this perfectly. We're not overachieving based on the history of Man United. You're right. But this season, we're talking in isolation. If we're not back to challenging for titles inside 2 or 3 years, I think Flawless will agree with me. This Carabao Cup and this running this year means nothing if we don't go on to challenge in the end. It's like it's building blocks, my friend.
That's the end game, and that's what it is. People don't understand when I say overachieving. I'm talking about what was the objectives this season. So if we do the objectives plus more, which currently we have done in terms of winning the trophy and being in the top 3. If we go on and win a treble, not the treble, it is a Mickey Mouse treble, but a treble nonetheless, that's an A1 season. The team could do nothing more. We're in 4 competitions. I genuinely believe we can win 3 of them. The Premier League was never on. As much as Have Hope wants to sit down there and lie, he don't believe our team's good enough to win the Premier League title. Nobody with 2 eyeballs can look at that team and go, yes, it's going to win a Premier League title. But FA Cup, League Cup, and Europa League, even with those 2, FA Cup, League Cup, and you could put Casemiro and Varane in your team. It don't make you like Champions League winners. You'd still avoid the question. You still wouldn't believe you'd win.
You still winner.
Yeah, World Cup. Yeah, okay. Well and done. We've got a World Cup winner in our squad. What's your point?
We had Paul Pogba who's a World Cup winner for 4 years and didn't win the league. Like it's crazy. This here says buy a new name for No Hope. Is what David here says.
It's half hope.
Original base Annie says LL. Your lies are as bad as who?
Kunsa. That's from Roots.
Yeah, it's from Roots. Yeah.
Splashnet can vouch for us. Don't let me get Gatlock and Rads to Clio search the video. Yeah, we're gonna find it. We're gonna get KJ to go find the video. We're gonna find it. It's in the archive. You're the only one that expected United to finish top 3. As a United fan, I expected us to finish between 6th and 8th based on last season. Yeah, most people did. Flawless keeps being disrespectful towards Liverpool, is what Victor says.
Hey, big up to you, Victor. Again, people always think I'm being. Where is the disrespect? Please clarify.
No, I don't think you're being disrespectful. I just think you're wrong. Like, I think you're basing it off expectations. I think expectations should change depending on what happens.
Well, expectation is not an objective.
What do you mean by okay? Objective should change.
I'm sure Sonny, you've played like GTA and stuff like that where you have a mission objective.
Oh, yes, I'm saying.
So you
don't get injuries to your best players.
Yeah,
Sonny, I can answer that though. Objectives do change. So if Man United were performing at a level where most Man United fans believe we could go on to win the league, I'd change my objective to go and challenge for it and try and win it. But I never believed we could. I said we might put a title push on. And that was all dependent on City and Arsenal dropping off a little bit. It wasn't about us getting to their level because I didn't think we could do it this year. However, with how much we've improved this season, my expectations have changed in terms of an objective change that we must make top 4. Failure to make top 4 now will be a failure, irrespective of me predicting 6th or 7th at the beginning of the season. So they do change, but you have to base it upon what you see and not just a whim or excitement because that's stupid.
Okay, can I say really quickly then? If Liverpool get top 4, do you think it's a fail?
Yes.
The
season
only top 4, just Champions League for the season.
Yes, because at the start of the season, you can't. If the objective changed, somebody failed somewhere along the line.
If the objective gets worse, then you've failed. Man United's objective is moving up a level.
Who are we blaming here? The medical team?
No, I'm blaming everybody. Everybody. Liverpool as a staff, a club, and a whole motherfucking crew. Everybody.
You're a football club, bruv. You know, if your owners don't buy the right players, your football club failed.
Everybody.
So stop saying Klopp out then. Let's get a new medical team instead.
I ain't saying Klopp out.
Why do you guys do this every season though? It's like, okay, well, as soon as you guys get all these injuries, then it's like that's just what happens. Some of the players that you guys have, I feel for you in some regards because some of the players they get injured and it's like, damn. But like some of the guys that you guys have that are injured are like permanently documented on that injury list. They are a sick note. They are never there. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita, them men, they don't count.
That's what comes into the owners, and I'm just tired of talking about the owners. Everyone wants the owners out.
But you can't be tired of talking about the owners if it's the owners, it's the board, it's Klopp, it's the player, it's all of it. You can't get tired of talking about something and then just shift the blame.
But the issue you just said is the owners. Because Klopp will happily go out and buy players. He's
but
came out
no, Klopp sat there and said he didn't need no midfielders.
He sat down there this is how the game works. You have to come out and say that. You have to.
No. He keeps relying on Henderson and Brexit.
I want to move on because we've got a lot more to get through on the show before we run out of time tonight. I wanted to say here, on paper at the start of the season, after all the signings were made, before a ball was kicked, who would have said who had the better squad, Arsenal or Man United? Do you know what? A lot of people would have said Man United, but that's why Arsenal have wound so many people up this year because they have overachieved and it's taken people months to get their heads around how wrong their predictions were. And even I was wrong. I predicted they'd come second and I got laughed at. And nobody's laughing now, are they? Flawless, I'm glad you are on the top 6 now, as it's about time Have Hope got seasoned up on his list for his flaws. Terry, you heard the news on Gary Lineker and Ian Wright stepping down from their duties. Yeah, I've got to read about it in more detail before I give my thoughts and opinions on it. But
it's Alan Shearer as well.
Is Alan Shearer stepped down as well?
Yeah.
In solidarity, I assume that's in solidarity for with. Yeah. And do you know what? I'm proud they've done that because, I mean, they should have all done it, by the way, for the World Cup because they all hated Qatar as well. But I'm glad to see them actually, for once, standing up. It shows, by the way, that these pundits can stand up and actually walk away from a job when they
like Top Gear all over again.
All I'm gonna say is, hey, BBC, if you're looking for new people, hey, shout me. I need the back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you may be watching.
I'll do it for a fraction of what you charge Gary Lineker. I won't tweet anything mad. I promise you. I won't do anything. Have hope you don't want that Benfica narrative. Listen,
it's facts though. He knows it's facts.
Benfica will knock Chelsea out. You know, they're looking all right.
No, but that's who he wants. Though. He's looking.
No, I said no. I don't want anybody. I'm humble.
In terms of predictions for United Southampton, what are you saying, Jess?
You guys are at home?
Yeah, yes.
3-0 United. They're getting a home cooking at Old Trafford.
What are you saying, Flawless?
2-0 Manchester United. Same 2-0.
Sonny?
Where is Southampton in the table? I just haven't
Bottom.
Okay. Bottom. They're 19th. They have to win this game. I'm not saying they're going to win the game. I'm not saying they're winning. I'm not saying they're winning. But
I love the sell.
The circumstances. Your last league game you held 7. Let's just. I'm going to go for 1-1. They have to get something out of this game.
Just to clarify, they're level with Bournemouth, who you're playing, who also need to get something out of their game.
Yeah,
and you predicted Liverpool win away at Bournemouth.
7 against you.
So that's how it works. Does that carry over?
Yeah.
Is it legs? Does it carry over? I didn't know it carried over. My bad. I've been watching the Premier League. I didn't know you start with it 7.
If you're playing football and you scored a brace in your last game, you got confidence, bro. You're going to score again.
Confidence hype. What happened after you lot beat Bournemouth? Did you not go and lose to Napoli 4-1?
I can't remember.
I forget that too. I forget that too.
What are you saying,
man? It's a funny game.
Yeah, man.
Easy United win 3-1.
3-1. Have hope?
2-0 United.
I'm going to go for a big one. I'm going to go for 6-0 United.
No, you're not.
No, I do. I think this team is going to go out there with more confidence than we saw against Betis and with an absolute want. Like we did last night, we just didn't put all the balls away. I think the team's going to go out there and score a lot of goals. We've been on the edge of giving a few teams a hiding recently, and I think they're going to get smashed up. If it ain't 5-6, it'll be 5. It's going to be a big scoreline on Sunday. We're going to slap them up. Title race though is a little fun this year. There's been a lot of narratives this week. I've had Big Steve on, who has said that, the sharks in the water, Arsenal are not built like City, that they can't handle it. We're coming for them. You've got the pundits out now talking about how Arsenal are conceding too many goals. They're going to lose games, blah, blah, blah. What's going to happen this weekend, Jess? Are you confident Arsenal are going to go pick up 3 points? Or is it away at Fulham? A tough game, away at Fulham. How do you see it going?
I think it's going to be a really difficult game. I do. I think Fulham are fighting for European qualification, and they're a good side. They have the type of players that they can play good football. They're well drilled, and so I don't think this is going to be anything like smooth sailing. I'm happy that Paulinho is out, but at the same time, that doesn't guarantee anything. We're a good team away from home, but we have some frailties. It's not that we're conceding way more goals than we were at the beginning of the season. It's the type of goals that we're conceding. And they're goals off of corners, very soft goals. And that's not really what you want to be doing when they have a player like Mitrovic up front. So I am a little worried just because I need to see Arsenal play a game that's drama-free, because I haven't seen one in a while. But I still think we'll go in there and win. I still think we have more than enough to beat them. I think, we're the better side. And yeah, I think we'll win, but it's going to be tough. It's a London derby. Obviously, Willian, he'll turn into prime Ronaldinho against us. Leno is going to be Manuel Neuer against us. It's going to be one of those, but I still think it'll be a narrow win, but we'll win.
Sonny, your club's been in lots of title races with City. Do you think Arsenal have got what it takes to go the distance and beat them to the title with this 5-point lead as well?
I don't. I don't think Arsenal can win the league. For me, are simply not good enough. I would like them to win the league because I'm so sick and tired of City winning it. I think if they win it, they've won 3 in a row, which would be disgusting. I really wish they do, but they can't because look, for the last, I don't know how many years it's been now, but it's been Liverpool and City. City, every single season, we've been competing in a title race. The running has been outstanding. They just win because they know they have no other choice. And I know they've dropped points in a couple of games, but I'm not really considering we're in the running yet. 5 points is a small gap, and we are about to enter the running. The games are going to get tough. The players are going to get tired, all of that. Arsenal, when they win, they win. Like when Arsenal win, they're like, you got the job done. When City win. Like City have won that game very well. And then let's talk at the other side where City lose, you'd almost be surprised. You'd be like, how have they not won that game? And then when Arsenal lose, you're like, well, they just didn't deserve to win. I think the players nowhere near good enough. Reece Nelson, as an example, turned up for them. Fair enough. But when has he ever done that before? Like those players for Arsenal they're not good enough. Saka, they've got some amazing players, but for me, still individual quality. As a team, they're a good team, but they're not good enough to win the Premier League. And I don't even think they'd win it next season either. So they're building a good team, but I still think that they're in the process of building that team. Manchester City, for me, are double as good as Arsenal, I would say. It's with the manager, with the players, with the quality, everything. I just think they know exactly what they have to do. And Arsenal are dropping 5 points now. Let's be honest. Arsenal are dropping enough points to lose this league title. City, for me, I would not be surprised if they win every single game from now to the end of the season. They're about that.
Wait, so then they are going to beat you guys then, because you said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got him.
I forgot they had us to play, and I'm always going to back my team. So other than that,
got him.
The running starts after they play Liverpool, right?
This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you run an agenda and you don't give your honest opinion.
It's not an agenda. It's not an agenda.
When you lie, listen, experience of life. When you lie, eventually your lies catch up with you, and you got caught out there, Sonny boy. You just got your fingers
I predicted
burned.
a draw. All right, I never predict my team to draw games. That's how good City are, right?
That was smooth. That
I know. You see that? That was like Mayweather counter right.
I never said the running started yet. All right.
Hey, Sonny, keep going, man. Yo, keep going. Yeah, she got you. Yo.
Yeah. Like, do you know what? I see a lot of this. Like, and obviously, I wanted to ask about that because a lot of people, every time Arsenal play at the moment, they've got Fulham, who are tough. It's a tough away game. There's no doubt. But I always feel like, I don't know, all season, every Arsenal game, it's, this will be the one where we see the collapse start. This is the one where the leaky defense will let them down. This is the one where their inability to score enough goals will be the problem. This is where we'll see that Saka isn't world class. Why does this narrative always run, George? I mean, I know I'm asking you as a Spurs fan, but do you not think it's getting a bit tiring now? And there just needs to be like more credit put on their name. And in fact, Arsenal are the favourites this weekend, and they should be predicted as favourites.
I think maybe against games like Fulham and so on, yes, they should be predicted as the favourites. But when you say people keep predicting Arsenal's downfall and that this is going to be the game where they drop points, it's shown that they've already done that. That's already happened. It happened just not that long ago. They come out of a rut against Aston Villa, against Leicester. Yes, look, we know they beat Everton convincingly, but the game against Aston Villa, the game against Leicester, the game against Bournemouth, or not the Leicester game so much, but Villa, Bournemouth, and then the games prior to that, they looked shaky. They wasn't the same Arsenal team that you've seen all season. They didn't play with the same confidence. They didn't look the same. And I feel like the pressure is slowly getting to them. I don't echo wholly what Sonny said. I do think they are going to keep it going. They will keep playing good. But I just think that in the big games that they do have coming up, because they still have to play Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. So they still have some games against very big teams. They're pretty much the teams around them in which they don't usually pick up points. So, and for me, I think the game against Liverpool and City are going to be the key games in that title race. If Man City go and beat Liverpool, in which they play first before Arsenal get to play Liverpool, and then they have Arsenal prior to they have to play Arsenal again. So depending on how those games match up against Liverpool, it is going to be key to the running. But Arsenal need to turn up in the big games. They're only going to win the title if they beat Liverpool, if they beat City. And I don't see it happening any other way. So I feel like Arsenal are going to have to do what they don't usually do and turn up in these big games and get the big results that they need. But if they do, then they're more than deserving of the title. You can't really wash them out for it if they go and beat the the teams that they don't and do the job that they don't usually do. So I think I see Arsenal picking up points in all these smaller games and making the most of them, but it's the big games where they lose it.
For me, I just feel that if Pep Guardiola loses to Arteta and doesn't win the UCL, no one cares about the FA Cup. I think that would be embarrassing for Pep. I mean, to lose to the guy who was fetching your water bottles and your cones is embarrassing. But the issue is that if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I've got to put my money on City. Also, like Sonny, I don't know where you were smoking, bro. Like Arsenal have actually been playing pretty well. Because like the way you were talking about Arsenal was as if these guys were trash or something. That's why guys are saying like your take was complete trash and so forth. Arsenal have been playing well. So if Arsenal win the league, they 1000% deserve it. The team, for me, I say the team who are playing the best football, I think, in Europe is Napoli, followed by Arsenal. Like Arsenal, quality-wise, have been playing better football than Man City. City just have a freak of nature who has 27 goals now. But in terms of chemistry, cohesion, and consistent performance, Arsenal have been the best team in the league, 100%. So they deservedly are 5 points ahead. It's not been like by fluke. City have just have a goal freak and just managed to get in goal. But City, this has probably been City's worst performance footballing-wise, I think, in years. In terms of just their performance level. So, but what I'll agree with you though is this is Arsenal's best chance. Arsenal into winning the league next year. No way. No chance. Like if they win it this year, Chelsea will be back, United will be back, and Arsenal will be there.
But you know what? A lot of people say that about Arsenal. Right? They have to win it this year. They can't win it again. Arsenal were going to buy more. Look at the players they're linked with at the moment. They bring in another quality midfielder, another quality attacker. Their young players are a year older. This notion that whether they win it or what I've heard from not everyone on here, but I hear a lot is whether they win it or don't win it this year, they're definitely not winning it next year. This Arsenal team has still got levels to go up. This is a very young team. They're going to buy and add more to it. I don't understand that logic.
Can I pop in here though?
I'll put a bet with you, Terry. I'll bet with you right now for nothing. I'll put a bet with you for nothing.
I thought you don't gamble.
Okay, well, first of all, it's hard to win back to back. So the chances of Arsenal winning it this season and winning it next season are not that likely, just based on statistics. It's hard to do. That's why not a lot of teams do it, But I don't have a problem with people thinking that Man City are going to win the league or thinking that Arsenal are not going. Like that doesn't bother me. It's Man City are a juggernaut, and they've been winning the league so much lately that it's like you have to think that they're gonna pull it together. My issue is when people like Sonny are acting like this is a Leicester, and it's not. If it was a Leicester, everybody's point totals will be significantly lower, and Man City's point total now is not really that much lower than any other times that they've been at this stage of the season. So they're performing about where they usually perform, maybe not aesthetically, but points-wise they are. And Arsenal have 5 more points than them. So for me, it's not a Leicester. And that's the only thing that annoys me is people are acting like this is like Arsenal are just like playing way above their level and they're not quality and they're getting lucky. It's not true. We more than deserve to be where we are. And the issue with Liverpool fans is the only reason why some of you guys are bitter and you guys are just completely writing us off is because you don't want anybody else to get one over City because you guys didn't do it enough in your best period.
I can promise you right now that is not.
It's true though, but that's what it is. It's you guys are like, well, we couldn't do it, so Arsenal can't do it. They're not as good as us, but blah blah blah. We just in this season right now, we're kind of what you guys were last season or the season before. And I get it. It's hard to watch somebody else be you a little bit, but you guys just need to focus on you.
I want Arsenal to win us
because if you're gonna act like this is a Leicester, you're gonna have to be banished again. You're gonna have to deactivate again because that's a terrible take, honey. It just is.
Wait, banished? What happened? What did I miss?
He went off the face of the earth because he made a bad take.
Sonny, you didn't run. You didn't do that, Sonny.
And he ran.
I didn't do that. Apparently, I ran because Liverpool were bad, but I weren't here when we were going for the quadruple. So things aren't really adding up for me.
In fairness, either there's one or two things happened. Sonny either run because of a bad take, or man went prison. There's only 2 reasons that a man disappears for a year like that. Do you know? Or
it's not
the only other men that disappear like that, a man that owed child support, they disappear as well. There's 3 men that disappear. Like that's it, brother. And I don't know which one. You look too young for the child support one, bro. But
he'd be out in clubs getting it in, so it might be that. You know what I'm saying?
I want to reply to Jess's point really quickly. I think
Please
you said something about me saying you were overachieving. One of the strongest reasons I think you're overachieving is because we should all agree on this. This Arsenal team has surprised all of us. It came out of nowhere. Like this league title run is amazing. Like nobody's seen this coming. And that's my point. Nobody's seen this coming. Where's it came from? You bottled top 4 last year. You've gone from that to going for the title. I've not seen enough. And one season still for me isn't enough. You can win the league, but I would never say you're going to go win it again, even if you win the league. Because look, you're a good team. You made a good team a good season. I'm still not convinced. You've came out of nowhere. Like, how do I know you're going to keep this up? How do I know you're not really bottlers left?
Especially
like,
with Chelsea coming back and so forth next season and so
forth. No one's talking about Chelsea.
Let me respond to this. Though, because he responded to me, so let me respond back. So the reason why you think it came out of nowhere is because you guys never take into consideration that you over-indexed Arsenal bottling the season last season. We were really consistent last season, but we had some bad periods that just we missed out on it by 2 points or something like that. Then we added Zinchenko and Jesus, and our players got better. And we added Saliba. A couple of players can make all the difference. It's not that difficult. Maybe we're not like we were always going to get better. Maybe you guys thought we were going to be like, but I think that doesn't even make sense, because even though we improved, you guys still thought we were going to finish 5th or 6th or something like that. And that's why I don't think you guys actually watch our games. You guys don't actually take Arsenal. You don't actually get what's going on. We've improved every single summer by a significant amount. So how could you not predict that we would get better this season? Maybe not title challenge, but the fact that people didn't even put us in the top 4 makes me think this is more agenda driven and not football analysis at all. Because there's no way you could have looked at our team and said a team that finished 2 points outside of the top 4 wasn't going to get any better, was actually going to regress. Then you guys also said that was our final chance of making top 4, but that's not true, because now we're in the title challenge and we're most certainly going to make Champions League. So the idea that but I don't think that like there's never a season where all 6 of the big 6 teams are all good at the same time. It doesn't happen like that. So we're still going to have a chance. We're probably going to be even stronger next season. Even if other teams are stronger, we're going to get better. How do you guys not count on Arsenal getting better? How?
Hope.
Like, I don't understand.
It's hope. It's purely hope that Arsenal.
It's not built on anything but agenda. I don't think. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I totally agree. There's some super chats here I want to go to. First one says the underperforming Arsenal have 63 points after 26 games. They've equaled the highest total of points City have achieved at this stage in the last 5 seasons. Is what TVT. So yeah, that's the sarcastic remark at what you said.
What did I say?
Or someone saying they're underperforming still.
He also said we were lucky. And like, you can say that somebody's overachieving, but to say somebody is lucky means that they haven't deserved a lot of the points that they got.
Yeah, just lay still, don't move. Lay the field.
All right. Well, when Arsenal don't win the league,
play that, Sonny, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This here says, why not Bellingham to Arsenal? Another reason why we are going to be better next year is that this good season will help us with recruitment. I don't quite know about I think Bellingham is a shoe-in for Liverpool, but you will be able to sign quality players. This year says there's a vast difference between being surprised at Arsenal's performances and Arsenal overachieving. We all say that the table doesn't lie. Well, that's another football kind of consistent that's trying to be undone in the last few years by football fans. They're trying to say that the league table does now lie suddenly, just to basically, it's always a way of downplaying how bad somebody's season has been. Like when someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finishes in front of you, we're not in a false position. You just were bad this year. Like, just accept the fact you were terrible.
League table was 38 games, by the way.
Exactly. The agenda is lit. Arsenal are dropping enough points to say, how is the gap still the same as it was pre-World Cup? Because City are too. And that's the point for me, that people keep saying City are going to kick into gear. They said City were going to kick into gear in January. We're now mid-March. And they haven't yet. They might still do it, but people's predictions have been so wrong this season. You think they're just calm their lips down a little.
We've all seen them do it.
My issue with what Sonny said is not that he doesn't think that we will. He says we don't have a chance of doing it. We cannot do it. And that's where I'm just like, well, but we can, though. We actually have a chance of doing it. Like, it may not be 100%. We still may not get it. But to say we can't, I really just think that, like, either you don't watch football, or you're mad because if Arteta wins a Premier League in his first 3 against Pep, he's equaled what Klopp has done.
But Jay, you're right. See, a lot of Liverpool fans
That's what I think it is.
A lot of Liverpool fans have this narrative of only Klopp could stop Pep. That's how good they are. If Arteta does it, a guy that everyone was calling the cone boy, it down. And by the way, and if Arteta does it twice, it puts Klopp in the mud. It puts him in the mud domestically. It really, and that's what why? Because a cone boy that you look like people like you called him would beat Pep twice to titles rather than just once.
On top of that, he'd have one more league. No. That adds into it, but you'd also have one more league title than Klopp.
In the
if he does win 2. Do I think Arsenal win 2? No. Can they win this league title?
Like, yes. All I'm saying is that like this is as transparent as glass. Like, it's so obvious. Like, I've been trying to figure out this entire season why Liverpool fans are, because we have no beef. We have no rivalry. So I don't understand. But then now I'm like, that's what it is. But like, that's the only reason why it could be, because it doesn't make sense.
You're overthinking it. There's no reason.
No, you're right, Jess. They salty. Too much salt.
I'm not salty.
Let's be real, Sonny.
But George, nobody's gonna. First of all, you're burned. Nobody's gonna listen to you because you're a Spurs fan. So of course you're like, there's no reason and da 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 da. Everybody has agendas. I have agendas as well.
Jay, I think George was backing you.
Was he?
I was just about to back. Wait.
I don't know. Oh, was he? I thought no, because I thought he was saying no, there's no reason.
I was saying
it's
definitely salt from Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans right now, it's like watching your ex-girlfriend with her new man. That's what it's like, really. Like, that's what's happening to Liverpool. Like, you guys are watching Arsenal do what you're doing, and you're like, nah, this ain't good, man. They're not like us. They're not doing it like us.
It's obvious, right?
That's how you're feeling. Like, let's be real.
When we played Man City, when they were at this level, we won the league.
Well, if Arsenal do it, then we'll see. But you can tell there's panic in your eyes. Listen, the same as, by the way, no gooners on the terrace do this, but there's gooners on my timeline every day when I'll tweet something like, "I'm so proud of I'm so proud of what Ten Hag has done so far in his rebuild." I'm just talking about my club, and then you get gooners are like, "No, but Arteta's was better because of da da da." It's like, no one. I haven't even done that comparison. Why are you bringing it up for? You know, like when I tweet about Rashford. When people come in with my guy's better, well, it shows you're insecure, doesn't it? Well, you got no reason to say it. So I hear you 100%, Jess. You're right. Ibby here says, does anyone think we should win the league with 12 games left? I don't personally, but we definitely can. The injuries up top worry me going to Fulham, is what Ibby says. This year says Arsenal can't win next year as Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus are retiring, and Saliba, Zinchenko, Partey's contracts are expiring at the end of the season. Little sarcasm there.
It's the last chance, y'all. This is it.
Yeah, season finale. Who's to say Arsenal don't kick back into the pre-World Cup form when they're not played with their main striker for 3 months and are still 5 points clear? Great point there, Mike. Terry, that 7-0 is gonna be with you for the rest of your life. Do you know what, bro? I can assure you, when I finish this stream and I'm gonna go out tonight and have some nice food, go watch a movie, have a few drinks, I can assure you I will not be thinking about it. You probably need to reassess your life choices if football results go into your personal life like that, my friend. You know, just chill out a little bit. But okay. We're gonna have a little debate in a minute because there's already a poll running on it. Foden versus Saka. I want to get your opinions on it. But just before we do that, score predictions for Fulham versus Arsenal. What you saying, Sonny?
You know what? I think both teams score goals. I know I watched Fulham's last game against Brentford. It's at Fulham, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a draw. Written all over it.
Okay. What are you saying, George? I'm
just laughing because Sonny's been so sorry about every rival team.
Oh, I haven't.
But no, it's cool. Everyone, look, if you think they're gonna draw, you think they're gonna draw. I'm not gonna lie. Fulham was one of your hardest games at the start of the season. I do remember that. They really took you guys at the end. But
this ain't about Fulham, bro. Stop it.
I do think that they are gonna walk away with the win. I think they'll win 2-1.
Fulham.
Yeah,
no, Arsenal win 2-1.
Arsenal, yeah. What you saying? Have hope.
2-1 to the Arsenal.
Flawless.
Begrudgingly, yeah. 2-0 Arsenal. Fuck's sake. Yeah, I think they'll win.
What are you saying, Jay?
2-1 Arsenal.
I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal as well. I think it'll be narrow. I don't think it'll be, but yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal in this game. Viewers, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on that. But remember, today we are sponsored by our friends at NordVPN. And one of the reasons why I partner with NordVPN legitimately is trying to make it makes my viewing experience better. And I want to make your using of the internet better to guard you against threats and censorship and massively surveillance as well. Massively surveillance. Download NordVPN now. Get it set up on up to 6 devices for as little as a cup of coffee per month and protect all your personal details, your bank account details, card details that are saved on your system, and much, much more, especially on your smart devices when you're out and about in public. It's very important to do that. But on top of it, you get some great discounted products as well, as you can change your geolocation. To give you some examples here, subscriptions to YouTube Premium from $11.99 a month to $188 a month. Apple Music, $100 a year down to just $5 a year. Spotify from £10 a month to around about £1.60 per month, and much, much more. There's also cheap gaming that is available to you as well. If you're a gamer, there's some games here like Cyberpunk and Deathloop. You see the prices in America compared to the prices coming out of Argentina or India when you change your geolocation. There are lots and lots of benefits to it. And also, like me, I get to watch the Premier League games very cheaply for $2.99 a month via Setanta Sports out of Moldova. I have an account there, and I can tell you how to get that set up properly as well. Just drop me a DM, but get signed up now to NordVPN. The best reason to do it is to protect yourself, and it's very, very cheap indeed. Whatever a cup of coffee costs you per month, that's literally it. 6 devices protected. Get it done after the show. Scan that QR code above Jess's lovely looking head, or use the link in the description below. Go and get that done. But I've got a super chat first I want to do as well, because I want to go into this Saka thing. Sonny is rattled because he knows the Liverpool's dynamic is going to go back to 1992 to 2016. Arsenal being miles better.
I literally said before everything I said, I hope Arsenal win the league. I literally said that because I hope Arsenal win the league. But
you sound just like Gary Neville when you said it too, because I don't want Man City winning 3 in a row, so I really want them to win it.
I'm not going to come here and shout. Like, I don't want Man City to win 3 in a row. Like, I don't think anyone does.
I get that. I just want to say to someone here, Terry trying to take us to jail. No, there's nothing illegal about using a VPN provider. There's nothing illegal about it at all. Jess obviously has accounts to things in America, but that don't work here because of geolocation. So now that she's here, she just uses a VPN provider, NordVPN, of course, and then can access what she does. I like watching EastEnders. I'm a bit of an EastEnders bud. I love it. I'm addicted. It's like my favorite documentary. And when I go away, when I'm out of the UK, you can't watch the iPlayer, but with NordVPN, I can. So there's lots of benefits to it, not just protecting your data. Get signed up to it now. It's very cheap. And I'll also give you a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it. So click on my link, go and get signed up at the end of the show. Saka and Foden, I've got a poll running. Who's the best? And the reason I'm asking this is because it's been on my timeline, legitimately, and in chats after match reactions for Arsenal and City for the past, I don't even know how long, month. It won't stop. Who's better, Sonny? Foden or Saka?
Saka. I know stats. I don't know stats, but I know that the stats wouldn't be too far apart. So you couldn't go one of them so much better because stats. And if anything, I think Saka's stats are probably better. Saka definitely gets me off my seat more. We could talk about the teams they're in. Manchester City, as I said, a far better team than Arsenal. I think if you swap roles, I think Saka at Manchester City would be unreal. Foden at Arsenal would be good because they're both good players. But for me, Saka's clear. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the age difference is either. They're probably about the same age. But I just feel Saka's more clutch. Saka surely has more big moments than Foden. Saka surely has been like the man for Arsenal in games this season especially. And I know I said I don't think Arsenal win the league because I don't. But they still have big games to turn up in to try and win the league. And Saka's been doing that almost every single game. I've seen his stats against the top 6. I think they're through the roof. Foden, I don't think you can say the same. Foden's a good player, obviously, but when it comes to him or Saka, Saka's clear, man.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, I think, but here's my thing. I pretty much agree with Sonny in pretty much everything he said. Like Saka, he's more clutch, he's more effective. He plays a much greater role in his team than Foden does. And I just think as of right now, I don't think they shouldn't even be compared as of right now. All I'll say though is I do feel that if Foden is given to the right manager and coach, I do think that Foden has the potential to be a better player than Saka. But that's the whole thing, that potential is there, but then you have to actually execute it. I just think that from watching Foden at I think it was the Under-17 World Cup and so forth, there's a lot of ability in him. It's just that I just don't think that he's really meeting his full potential and standards. So as of right now, look at it right now, Saka he's easily the better. Like Saka at his age, he's literally the linchpin of a team going for a title. Foden has never been that. Has never been like the main guy of a team going for like a major trophy. But the only thing I'll say that Foden may have is there's ability there. I just think under Pep, he's not really fully achieving that. But right now, it's Saka is easily the superior player.
This is not an easy debate, and everyone throwing the Saka way is lost for me. I rate Saka, and as we all agree, he's a great talent, one of England's best talents. But Phil Foden, for people to try and rub out and say he's been one of Man City's most important players. Last season, he was one of their most important players. If you look at the type of minutes he gets, Pep's giving him 90 minutes whenever he can, whenever he's available. You talk about goals. He scored a hat-trick in the game against Man United this season. He's not a bigger goal scorer than Saka, but he's someone that impacts games. City do rely on him in the Champions League. He gets goals every now and then, and he's picking it up for them. He's definitely one of their most important players. And for me, I just think Foden, I don't like to class this all on talent, but you can just tell from the way that Foden plays, he does have a bit more technical ability to him. He does look a bit more naturally fit into the City team. And I don't really like to compare the levels of the team because like Terry said earlier, Arsenal have had opportunities to win trophies at a lower level. Saka's not took them to that. Foden's been with Man City all this time, and he has been pivotal to some of these trophies that they've won. People aren't going to try rub down. He has been pivotal to some of these trophies that they've run. He really has. Like, you look at the goals he scored in some of the run-ins they've had to these trophies. You can't take that away from him. And yeah, this season, I won't sit there and say this season I think Saka's been better. I don't think that there's an argument there, but that's because Foden's obviously had some off-the-field issues, which Pep has tried to deal with, and obviously has had still some problems with that. But overall, Foden's definitely a better player, and I think he has a higher ceiling to perform at a higher level.
What are you saying, Jess? I mean, obviously, I know you're going to say Saka because you love the guy. What is it you think that makes Saka better than Foden?
Well, I mean, I want to start off by saying that I think Foden is an extremely talented individual. And when he's on it, you can tell why people think that he's the future, and present, future, everything. So I don't want to take that away from him. I just think Saka's ability and the things that make him special are not really the things that football fans really like. They don't care about being effective and consistent. They care about what it looks like, and is it flashy, and is it technically this and that. And I do think Saka has a good technical ability, but I'm not going to say that. I think Foden has that aesthetically pleasing way of playing that when he's on it, people really, really like it. But Saka is really showing up for Arsenal and carrying a team to potentially their first title in 18 years. And I don't think that can be overlooked. People said in the beginning that he didn't have enough end product. He was more of a left back, and he's one of the best wingers in the league right now. And if Foden Foden is an amazing player, but if he was as good as everybody's saying he is, then why are Man City desperate to sign Saka then? Saka is obviously a very special player that would fit seamlessly into Man City as well and will play an important role there as well. So they're different players. They're special for different reasons, but I think just Saka being the player that is the guy at Arsenal, and Foden does go in and out, kind of like a lot of their players, like Gundogan one season, Foden another season, Grealish, and sometimes Mahrez. Sometimes they all kind of take turns. But if Saka does not play well, we do not play well, and I think that's the difference. But both of them are really, really good. So I don't want people to make it seem like I don't rate Foden, because I do.
For me, it's an interesting one because I've always rated Saka from his debut. I think he's such a talent. I'm annoyed that Arsenal are now doing well because he was always a player that I had this little hope in the back of my head for. If United get better and Arsenal stay where they were, we might be able to take him away. Especially as we've not still, in my opinion, fixed the right-hand side of our attack. Because imagine Saka in the Man United team. It'd be, for me personally, it'd be amazing. But with Phil Foden, when I look at them both, ability, yeah, look, it becomes a bit, the eye of the beholder. What people prefer, it's a preference thing. They both have brilliant ability. They both have brilliant attributes to their game. Saka in the last 18 months, the statistics have started to come and the outputs have come along with it. And for outputs, I also include things like being clutch, scoring really important and pivotal goals for your team. And Saka this year, I think all of his goals have been winners or equalizers for his team. Like, that's ridiculous. And if he's doing that, we know that Foden's done that. We've seen him do it many, many times. This season, Saka's been better. Overall, though, I side with Foden just because Foden has been pivotal in teams that have won those trophies. And I hold trophies very dear. I think when you've delivered in title runnings, when you've delivered in cup runnings and you've lifted those trophies and you've been pivotal, they count. So I'd say right now, I would edge Foden just ahead of him as overall better in terms of so far in their careers. This season, I think it's been Saka. But the reason that I do it the way I do it is because it's interchangeable. I don't think because Foden's ahead now, that's how it's going to look in 3 or 4 or 5 years' time. Because if Saka now goes on to add trophies and these performances in big games in the back end of seasons, that for me puts you on another level of footballer. It's why I won't ever think about Harry Kane in the same breath as an Aguero, in the same breath as an Henry, as a Rooney, because we saw all of those players deliver in those last 5 to 10 games of seasons. We've seen them all deliver and score goals. I'm not saying Harry Kane can't do it. We just haven't seen him in those environments. And that's for me where I put, like, that's a kind of box that Foden has ticked that I think Saka's going to tick, but he's got a ticket to have it. Does that make sense?
What I would say about Saka is that he rose, like, his level has risen to a point where he can be spoke about in the same breath as Foden, because Foden has been really like the pinnacle of young players in the Premier League. What if you're good, you're going to be like, you have to get up to Foden's level. I think that's what Saka's done this season. Not necessarily surpassed him in everybody's mind, but at least he's in the conversation, which speaks a lot to how good he's gotten, because there was a time where people were putting him in left back and saying that's as good as he was going to get. So yeah, I'm happy with where he's gotten. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think I echo what you said. For me, they're both brilliant. And I don't like the kind of analysis I see from people online where they try and slag one or the other off to make their guy seem better. That tells me, again, you're insecure about your individual. Instead of praise, like, I separate them purely on trophies. And I do think that's an important part. But I think that Saka's going to match him. And I did see a comment that came in and said, well, what if his team isn't capable of winning trophies? You've got a choice to leave. Then you leave and you go to a club and you win the trophies. If you decide to stay at a club that isn't challenging for the big trophies, there's certain boxes in just from my opinion, that you're not going to tick. You need to put yourself into a position to win those trophies, because the legends of the game, and this is why they're legends. If we just go back to, Jess, me and you were together with KJ. We're in the media center at the World Cup. It was basically pure Argentinians and then people supporting Argentina. But the way Messi and Mbappe delivered in that final, win or lose it, that's legendary, because you're doing it at the highest level and stage. Now, you can't help what country you're born into. There are certain players who are good enough to win World Cups, but they're from countries that are never, ever going to be able to achieve it. When it comes to club football, you have a bloody choice where you are and what you do. And, and sometimes I think people take the easy way out by staying at a club that is smaller, that's an underdog, they're not expected to win, because then there's less pressure on them to deliver. When you go to the biggest clubs in the world, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, the Man Uniteds, the Barcelonas, City are in that bracket now, the pressure there is big. You have to deliver. You can't coast for 10 games, 20 games and still be loved because of a hat-trick you scored 9 months ago. That doesn't happen. And, Saka will do it. Saka will deliver. But yeah, Foden just edges it slightly for me. Just slightly. There's a super chat here that says, I'm joking. Arteta is not a clown. Good manager is what Nabil said. He called him a clown a bit earlier. Have Hope thinks Callum Hudson-Odoi is better than Saka.
No. When did I say
I'm so glad those days are over.
When did I say that?
Have Hope double down, man. Cho way or no way. You know what I'm saying?
No. Matthias, I never said that. No,
Cho
I never
hive
said
or
that.
no hive. He definitely said that, man.
I remember when people were comparing him to Brandon Williams. I don't even think Man United fans remember Brandon Williams. Is that his name?
Right, yes, it is Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
But this is what. But again, like, Rashford's still got a long way to go in his career. He's won 4 trophies. He's got to win league titles and Champions Leagues, to become a legend at my club. But for the last 7-8 years, like every good attacker that comes through, better than Rashford, like after 2 games. Iwobi was going to be better than him. I remember when everyone was telling me Iheanacho is going to be better than him. Like it always happens. You always get it when you've got a very good talent coming through. Arsenal had everyone tries to make Saka sound crap and their guys better. Tottenham had it with Kane. Listen, it weren't that long ago. Who was the striker? When Dominic Calvert-Lewin had like a good 2 months. Calvert-Lewin's got to replace Kane in the England team. Shut up. Just like that sort of stuff's crazy. It really, really is. I've done all those super chats. They're all done. Thank you. Look, I want to say thank you to everyone who's come on the show today. Flawless, great to have you back, bro. It really has been. We'll definitely be getting you back on again soon. Sonny as well. George, thanks for turning up, mate. And that's been a tough week or so. Yeah, it's been a tough week for both of us. But I still feel like you're in the mud slightly, bro. Have hope. How are you feeling after being barbecued?
I'm never wrong, man. So I didn't lose that argument. So I was still right. So
tainted me.
Same way. Chose better than Saka, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. You know
Jess, always a pleasure to share the screen with you as well. Viewers, you're amazing and you're brilliant. We're back tomorrow. Match reactions all day. Hit the like and the share button. Subscribe to the Terrace, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye.